Now this next speaker, he's gonna introduce you to the biggest design job in your life. Now that's quite a big statement to make, but he's gonna prove himself. Okay, now he's also the founder of the Happy Academy. Now instead of just sharing with you guys what the Happy Academy is all about, instead I've chosen two of my favorite quotes from his website, okay, to help you infer for yourself what the Academy does. Okay, so the first quote goes like this. So does your life feel the way you want it to feel? And if you want the joy of waking up and having something to give yourself to, if there's something deep in you crying to be birthed, then it's time to start. So let us now put our hands together and welcome Mr. Daniel Lin.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone. I'm so scared and nervous. Oh my god. Right. So today we're gonna talk about the biggest design job you will ever do, and I think you will know what I'm gonna talk about, which is your life, right? Because today's event is Design Your Life. But before I dive into the meat, I would like us to do a little exercise together, and that is to breathe together. So on a day-to-day basis, you know, breathing is something that we have been doing since we were born, right? But we don't do it properly. We only engage half of our lungs every time. It's very shallow. We do shallow breathing all the time. So to kick off the talk, I would like all of us to do 3 deep breaths together. Fill your lungs with the natural goodness that the universe is giving us. And then when you exhale, really expel everything out, okay? I want you to empty your lungs. All right, so let's do it together. First breath in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one, make it count. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you. So now we are one together. And also that was just a silly way of me calming my nerves. Okay, so hi and thank you. I want to thank you for your attendance today. I want to thank you for your time and presence today. Both time and attention, they are the most valuable commodities in this new economy. So I want to thank you. And I also want to thank Shophouse & Co. and Design Singapore Council for this wonderful opportunity for me to share some of my experiences with all of you. And I hope it will elevate you and inspire and motivate you at the end of the talk. So a little bit about myself. My name is Dan. You can call me Jenny Bunny because I was born in the year of the rabbit. So Bunny, right? 1975. In case you're wondering, that works out to be 41 years old. This is when you will say, wow, you don't look like 41. Okay. I will call myself a serial entrepreneur. Don't worry, I don't have a mama shop. I don't sell Frosties and Fruit Loops. But basically what serial entrepreneur means is that I do things for the love of it and not so much for the money. So I follow my heart and I go where my heart leads me. And I believe that when you approach life this way, the money will eventually sort itself out. Alright? So I've always followed my heart since I was a little kid. I didn't know how else to live. Alright? But this is just a nice way and a euphemism for being a rebel. Right? I've been a rebel throughout my life, but I was also a good and very obedient boy. So it's very oxymoronic. This is a photo of me when I was 9. You can see my hair was really rebellious. Despite my mom using half a jar of Good Look hair gel on my hair every morning, it looks like this. When I was in the army, my skin rebelled against me. I had really severe acne and cystic boils. And they were so bad that when I laughed at my friends' joke, or when I talk, the boils will actually burst, and then the pus and the blood will ooze out. I'm not frightening you, it's not fake, it's true. And it was so bad that when I went to the National Skin Center, not the National Design Center, National Skin Center, they actually put me on 2 full courses of Roaccutane. This is how bad my acne problem was, and I had acne all the way on my back and to my butt. So my skin rebelled against me. My skin was rebellious as well. This was me when I was around 12. I've always loved dancing. I look like a praying mantis here. I cannot do the splits anymore. Okay, and I love to dance, and it was considered a very girlish kind of ECA, and I was the only boy who was doing dancing.
So cool!
Yes, as illustrated in this photo, I was the only boy. And when I dance, I cannot wear my spectacles, and there were no contact lens during that time, so I really don't know what the hell I was doing. And I was surrounded by girls who were bigger and more developed than I was, but I was rather fearless, okay? I just followed my heart again, I rebelled. And of course, there were classmates and schoolmates who say, oh, you're so sissy, you're so aqua. I didn't care. So what? Another photo of me, the thorn among the roses. Am I blocking you guys? Okay, so that's me. That is the tambourine dance. So I aspired to be this Billy Elliot. And then sometimes I was the girl. I rebelled against gender norms as well. And last night as I was going through my slides, I thought that this photo was really very telling about my future career as a designer. Because you look, I was very well color coordinated, don't you think? And actually what I was wearing matches the cabinet on my right. Right? Very cohesive, don't you think? So I think it's very telling about my future because I was trying to be creative. I was very limited by resources, so I ransacked my auntie's wardrobe, and I was very fearless. Unless you think that I did this behind closed doors, it was my mom who took the photo. I love my mom. My mom really accepts me for who I am and really embraces me. And my friends also love me for who I am. So I want to thank my friends who are here today. Thank you. Woo! Okay, so fresh out of university, this was before the era of Facebook and YouTube. This was the era of Lycos, InfoSeek, Excite, and GeoCities. So I was what they call a Generation I, who was restless, and the definition of Gen I was, if you can read, a new breed of contrary but creative individuals who aren't afraid of letting it all hang out. Okay, so that was me rebelling again, and then I started blogging even before the term blog came about. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was writing an online journal, sharing my life with everyone, letting it all hang out. And then I remember that my domain was so long. Before I actually got jennybunny.com, it was geocities.com/tokyo/garden/3145/index.html. That was how long my URL was, okay? I was also Singapore's first cyberbagger. So if you go on to hardwarezone.com, you will see a lot of people who hate me. Like, I actually begged for a $6,000 laptop. It was a Macintosh. And that was when I was switching from a PC laptop to a Macintosh. Not that I didn't have the money, but I was doing a social experiment to see if I can raise enough money. So this is like the early days of Kickstarter before Kickstarter came about. So I was rebelling again. I spent my 30s building my business empire, following my heart, and I was really very blessed. Business was really good. I had the opportunity of working with some of the biggest brands in the world. I won't name them, but money was rolling in, and I was very happy, very fulfilled. And in fact, my problem was that I loved my work a little bit too much. I loved what I was doing a little bit too much. I had so much money. I went through a phase where I was just buying and buying and buying. And I buy so many things. I became a shoe and a bag addict. And I have so many bags and shoes that I actually have a warehouse storage unit to store my stuff. And you can see my little Astro Boy there. He's in the first slide with me. So I collect figurines as well. So I went through that phase whereby I validated my existence through material wealth and accumulated. And this is a direct result of my childhood conditioning and my family history. Because I was born in a very, very rich family, but when I was 10, my dad actually committed commercial crime, white-collar crime, and then he was wanted by the CID and the police. And when I was 10, he just disappeared. And I've not seen my dad for 3 decades. He just disappeared. So overnight, we became we went from being a really rich family to a very, very poor family because my mom's side, my maternal side, they're very poor. They're like the typical heartlanders. It's my dad's side, which is like really, really rich. So it became very poor. And I created these values about money, which are untrue and quite unhealthy. And then I self-sabotaged myself. And my value was that money is something that is transient. Money is something that can be here today and gone tomorrow. And it is still very true. But because of this value, I don't like to hold on to money. Whenever I have money in the bank, I splurge. I spend. Because I keep thinking that something bad is going to happen. And then what's the point of having all this money in your bank? Then everything was rolling along. This is a Tekla article about the up-and-coming technopreneurs. They did an article on me. But this is actually a slap in the face because when they got in touch with me and wanted to feature me, they said, oh, we want to feature successful technopreneurs. And I was like, I don't think you want to feature me because I don't think I'm successful. In New York, October 2012, I suffered a crippling meltdown, like the polar bear. I wasn't in New York for work. I was in New York for play. I suffered a meltdown when I was playing. Okay, how screwed up is that? Very, very screwed up, right? So everything was going for me. I had the money. Business is good. I had a great team of very talented people working with me. I had about, at that point in time, 3 businesses which are thriving. I enjoy my work a lot. Friends love me. My family love me. I'm healthy. Everyone's healthy. What went wrong? Why did I have a meltdown? So this woman, her name is Corinne. I call her Kay. She's my guardian angel, and she's the woman who actually saved me from the abyss of my meltdown. I actually, just to expand a little bit about my meltdown because it's quite dramatic and you guys like dramatic stories, right? So I was actually in the Guggenheim Museum and, you know, being the very funny critic, looking at every single piece of artwork and going, huh, shit, I can also do this. Ah yeah, this one also art ah yeah, you know? So I was going around critiquing, and then suddenly the ceiling started to spin and then I blacked out. To put this into context, before the trip to Guggenheim, I was having a series of waves and waves of anxiety attacks. Even when I'm like checking my WhatsApp or checking my email, I just feel anxiety creeping. Over the smallest thing, I was just anxious, right? And then it kind of grew bigger and bigger into this crippling blackout in New York, in Guggenheim Museum. Among the group that I was traveling with, one of my friends, he's a doctor, and he said, Dan has to go home because I sounded like I was possessed when I broke down. They said that I looked like I was possessed, I was incoherent, and I was chanting one sentence. And the sentence that I chanted was, 我要回家, 我要回家, 我要回家. It means I want to go home, 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 I want to go home. Very irritating, right? I just kept chanting that, and my friend said, okay, he needs to go home now. So they bought me an emergency flight ticket. I flew back to Singapore, and that began my recovery of 6 months. I can tell you how crippling my meltdown was. The medical diagnosis of my condition was mind-body dissociation. So my mind separated from my body. So my mind couldn't control my body. And what that means is that when I talk, I slurred. My brain was racing faster than my body could catch up. So I think I'm actually talking, but actually I'm maybe 1 or 2 words behind. So it came out incoherent. Also, I was incontinent. I wet my bed. And it was terrible because something as basic as peeing, I couldn't control. I was wetting my bed. And that was when I realized how serious I was. And I went to see a doctor. I was on medication for half a year. And I also did psychotherapy sessions 3 times a week with Kay. All right? And this woman really saved my life. And I was a very difficult student of life because I was very critical and I think I was so smart and intelligent. So I was always being very obstinate about some of the exercises that she prescribed me, right? And I feel that, oh my God, this is so woo-woo, it's not going to work. I mean, art therapy, draw circles, you know, that's what I did. And over half the year, I trusted the process and I got better and better. And I got a lot of aha moments in my life. And that's what we talk about mindset shifts, right? Melissa was talking about mindset shifts. My mindset shifted, my priorities shifted as well. And that's why, and then of course, I was told not to go on social media because social media is very bad, right? Very bad. And I was told to lay off Facebook, Instagram, anything. I was not supposed to read my favorite business periodicals like Fortune, Business Week, and things like that. So I watch a lot of TV. Okay, so TV can be good for you when you have a meltdown. And then when I re-emerged from my man cave, my friends were like, "Oh my God, where have you been, Dan? You know, blah, 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 blah." And that was when I shared full-heartedly my meltdown episode with them. And that's when I realized that vulnerability is a strength. And then through my sharing of my story with people, I started to get a lot of texts, PMs, DMs, emails, calls, people asking for the number of my therapist, people asking for the number of my doctor, people asking me if psychotherapy works. So I dug a little bit deeper, and these are my friends who are high flyers. Okay, they are CEOs, and you know their companies have gone IPO and things like that. Very funny, right? So you would think that they are successful people. So this comes to my next revelation. Successful but unhappy people, they are a real thing. My friends would tell me that they don't know how to be happy. And then the scariest thing is they say they don't think they deserve to be happy. I'm like, what the heck is that? Right? So I had problems, but my problem is not about happiness. But I realized that, oh my God, we have got so many people around us who are actively achieving something that the world has prescribed for us, which is important. The metrics of success. What is it? Oh, is that what the society defines it? So these people chase. And our academic system, our education system is stacked in such a way that we go for these metrics. So that's why I started the Happy Academy, because I feel that this is a curriculum that is very, very seriously missing in our lives. And how nice if we actually didn't put the cart ahead of the horse. Let's put the horse ahead of the cart, right? Let's front load the more important questions before we decide whether we want to study science or math, or physics, or economics, right? Or Chinese, or English. So, when I was invited to do today's topic, I usually talk about happiness, so which is the front part of the talk. So when I was given this opportunity to do the talk today, they said I was going to talk to a group of designers in the design center, so then it has to be design-centric. So I was like, oh my God, okay. So I thought, is there any part of the design processes and the procedure that we can map onto designing our life? So when you look at the anatomy of a project, let's split it up. There's so many ways of splitting up, like what Melissa has shown you. This is my way of splitting it up. The first part is the creative brief, where you usually get from the client. The next part is where you do the research, the 1A bit, right? The painful bit. And then we have the creation, okay? And then we have the revisions, which is the part we all hate, right? Where the client actually wants you to push pixels, change colors, design by committee, everybody thinks they're a designer. Okay, so if you're lucky enough, it gets to this part, which is it's a wrap and you collect a paycheck. Yay! So I was thinking, if we actually had a creative brief of our life, what would our creative briefs be like? So let's go through some of the very standard creative briefs of our lives. Be born, get an education, get a job, pay bills, and die.
So sad!
So sad, right? Okay, more sad one behind. Wait for Fridays, wait for someone to fall in love with me, wait to strike Toto so I can get out of this stinking job, then I will be happy.
So sad!
Okay, so this is what I call the conditional creative brief. It's conditional happiness. If, then, when, then. Okay? This, buy things I don't need with money I don't have to impress people I don't like, so I can make a really nice Instagram feed. Right? Very sad. Or, this is the saddest. Wake up today to be mediocre. Right? Oh my God, so sad. Alright, then, so sad now, right? So what should we do? We do research, 1A. Alright, so this is the time where we're going to break into a little exercise. It's very fun. Some people have already done this when you've been to my talk. And it's called the five most difficult simple questions you've never asked yourself. So it's very simple. I'm going to ask you one question. There are two options, A or B. And then read them. And then when I say A, those who choose A, raise up your hands. Those who choose B, raise up your hands. No right or wrong answers. Be honest and be authentic. Alright? So the first question is, would you rather have hiccups for the rest of your life or feel like you need to sneeze and not be able to for the rest of your life? Okay? Those who choose A, please raise up your hands. Those who choose B, half. And then there are some of you who are still deliberating. Maybe you will need to do both. Okay. Next question. Would you rather live one 1,000-year life, a very long life, or would you like to live 10 100-year lives? Option A? Option B? Variety and choice, right? Okay. Third question. Would you rather give up the internet or B, give up your friends and family? A? Oh, you bad people. Some of you are very bad. Okay, so who would rather give up your friends and family? Wow! Thank you for your honesty. Okay, fourth question. Would you rather have legs as long as your fingers? B, fingers as long as your legs? Difficult. Option A, raise up your hands. Option B, more people would want to have fingers as long as the legs. Then your keyboard needs to be very far away, you know. Okay. Last question. If you are stuck on a desert island with a beautiful man or woman, would you rather they be A, top half fish, or B, bottom half fish? First, okay, A, put up your hands. Don't want top half fish. Okay, B, or bottom half fish. Okay, so at least we have one thing that we all unanimously agreed upon. Thank you for your participation. So the point of this exercise is not to waste your time. Is to get you to ask better questions, right? Melissa loves to ask questions, dig deeper, right? And reframe your questions. So this exercise will hopefully drill in a little bit of this concept into your brain. Because in this day and age, everything is just a Google click away, right? So the thing that separates the winners from the losers are the people who ask better questions. If you can up-level your quality of the questions, you can up-level your quality of your life, right? So if we look at the success, this thing, right, the keys of success, what is your definition of success? Can I just shout some answers? What do you think makes you successful?
Finding a breakthrough.
Huh?
Finding a breakthrough.
Finding a breakthrough. Okay, great. And then you were saying? Hard work. Hard work is a metric of success. Michelle?
Time to call my own.
Time to call your own, which is freedom. Okay, so thank you for your participation. Two keys of success. If we distill success down, there are two parts to it. The first component is the science of success. So it's basically like, you know, if you want to lose 10 pounds, you need to exercise and eat less. If you eat more than you exercise, you're going to put on weight. If you take drugs, you smoke all the time, you don't exercise, you don't get enough sleep, you don't drink enough water, you're going to fall sick. This is the science, right? Our laws. And basically, if you want to be successful, you've got to work hard. It's the hustle. There's no way around it. That's what Solonia talked about as well. You have to work hard. And work hard is the simple bit. It's the why and the what you work hard on, which is the second part, the art of success. And art is something that's subjective. Bringing you back to my experience in Guggenheim, it's art on the wall, but I was laughing about it. Alright? One person's trash is another person's art. So you have to decide what is the art component of your success, right? For me, I feel that the best definition of success is to be happy doing what you're doing. That is basically what we're trying to do every day, even if it's in an ice cream that we're eating, or a glass of red wine that we were sharing just now, you know, or giving a talk right now. I'm enjoying it. This is, I feel, part of success, right? The Japanese have an amazing concept called ikigai. And it's basically the idea of what juices you up every day that makes you want to jump out of bed. that gives you this fire in your belly, that gives you true meaning and makes every day fulfilling. Ikigai, right? And some people spend an entire lifetime searching for this ikigai that is very elusive. But I can tell you that if you have good quality questions and you reframe your questions, you can get closer to this ikigai. And because you guys are here today, I'm going to let you discover your ikigai not in a lifetime, but in 5 minutes. Are you excited about that?
Yes!
Only one person is excited, okay. Alright. No lah, I think I'm over-promising. But basically what I want to do is to get you started. What are the 5 questions that you can ask yourself to discover your ikigai as soon as possible? The first question is, who are you? Okay, it's a very simple question. So when I count to 3, I want you to shout out your names. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Dan!
Dennis!
Again. 1, 2, 3. Dan!
Dennis!
Okay, great. So we already sorted out the first question. You know who you are. We only have 4 more to go. The next question is, what do you do? What do you do as in your work? And what do you do when you're not working? Right, what do you do? Third question, who do you do it for when you're at work? Who do you do it for when you're not at work? Right? Fourth question, who are these people? What do they want and what do they need? Fourth question, and the last question is, how do they change as a result? Change school. So a lot of overlap with what we're talking about today. So if we look at the 5 questions, only 2 questions are about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? The third, fourth, and fifth questions are about other people, because happiness is a lot about what you do for other people, and the happiest people actually make other people happy. It's about servitude and the purpose and paying it forward that will give you true meaning, right? So this is one of the most dreaded questions at any cocktail party. Hey, so what do you do? Right, very dreadful, right? So you say, I'm an architect, I'm an engineer, but you know, my work doesn't really define who I am. You know, I'm more than just my work, my career, you know? So I really think that this is a question that is very irritating if you don't really have a good answer. But today I'm going to teach you to create a really interesting answer. So next time, you will be begging for people to ask you this question. So what do you do? And then you scare the shit out of them with your answer, okay? So let's look at some of the interesting creative briefs, right? We look at some set creative briefs. So if you are a fashion designer or a fashion stylist or a fashion blogger, you would say I'm a fashion blogger. You would say, I seek to make other people look and feel their best. Right? How does that sound? Sounds more holistic, right? Next, if you're a life coach, if you're a mentor, if you're an advisor, you will be, I seek to help people get great work into the world. It's more holistic. It's not about the minute what do you do, right? Next, I seek to introduce change where cultures collide, right? If you're someone who wants to bring disparate cultures together to promote love and understanding, this is what you will do and say you do. Next, if you're an adventurous spirit, you will say, I seek to embrace the unknown and let life surprise me. What do you do? I seek to create anomalies with wonder and wit. This is great for designers because you're always looking at pockets where you can delight people, right? Next, I seek to bring vulnerability to the impervious. So the impervious is a big word. It's basically people who don't really feel a lot. They're very cold. And as I did earlier on, I shared a little bit about my story, and I told you that when I emerged from my man cave and shared my story, my friends actually started reaching out to me because they feel that I'm a safe person to talk to, because I already waved the white flag and said, you know, I had a mental meltdown, right? So there can be no place safer, right? So you can come and confide with me, no judgment, no judgment. I know I just came back from the toilet just now, but I heard that bit. No judgment. I seek to bring vulnerability to the impervious. Vulnerability is really an amazing strength, and it can unite and bring together a lot of people. And it doesn't have to be serious. It can be as simple as, oh, I seek to make every day a razzle-dazzle musical like La La Land, right? So I'm going to break for my favorite exercise for this talk, and it's called Who is Your Hero? Astro Boy appears again. So you have a blank piece of paper, right, and a pen or a pencil. Please do this exercise with me. Please do it, okay? Please do it and commit to it. It will only take 1 minute of your time. I want you to tell me and write down who is your hero. Just one name. It can be someone you know, like in your family, a friend. It can be someone you don't know personally, but you like. So like a star, an athlete, a motivational speaker, a very successful philanthropist. Anyone, just write the name down. Okay, please write the name down. Now, one name. Who is your hero? I gotta come here a bit because I think this bit is very neglected. I hope the wireless might work. Okay, hi. We got a closer view of me now. Hi everyone. I know there's a lot of dead air here. You're a bit too far. Okay, so write down your names. Have you written down your name? Not your name, but the hero's name, sorry. Please don't write down my name, huh? Okay. So after you've written down the name, very good. The second part is I want you to list down the qualities that you like about this hero. What is it that you love about this person? What makes this person so lovable? What makes you so inspired and attracted to this person? Write down, just jam and brainstorm, no judgment. This is your list. The aha moment is going to come, I promise you. Just go through. Okay, you have 20 more seconds because we're running late. Okay? Hey, how come I never write, Michelle? Oh, you already know the answer? Chan. Okay. Are you guys ready? Ready or not?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I want you to now strike off the name of your hero and put down your own name. Because these are the qualities and the values you see in yourself, which are so important. And this is what is going to define your body of work and your life. You know, when I did this exercise, I actually cried. When Corinne did this exercise with me, I have goosebumps now. I actually cried because it was such a revelation, and it was just a very simple twist in the way we approach the understanding of ourselves. And we realized that, you know, these are the qualities that we find very attractive in someone, and we want to magnify and be the same and mirror the same qualities. And that's why we feel so close to these qualities in other people. So I want you to look at this list of values, and this is really going to bring you one step closer to clarity about your identity, what is central to you. Because values are the keys to great design. Whether it's commercial work, you must believe in something. Whether it's minimalism, you know, or vibrance, or energy, right, or authenticity. Or when it comes to designing your own life, values are things that do not change much throughout your whole life. But a lot of us go through life having a vague idea of what they are. So all I need you to do is to get clearer and get super sharp on that clarity on your focus, right? Because when you build coherence between your life and your values, you're going to find that all the complexity is going to melt away. It suddenly becomes so much easier and achievable and like a breeze, right? Lastly, design requires courage, and I love designers, I love myself, and I love other designers. You have to love yourself, huh? And that's because, why does design require courage? It's because it requires an imagination. You are creating something for the future based on your frames of references and what you know to be true now. But you are always putting something out new, right? And it requires courage because you're testing out, you're prototyping. See, I'm paying attention. Prototyping. And what's the worst that can go wrong? You test it out in small doses, and if it doesn't work, you collect feedback loop, and you iterate. Iterative design process. All right, Melissa said. There's a lot of synergy in what we are talking about today. It's all unplanned, but it's because it's probably really true. So I've come to the end of my talk, but I would like to wrap it up with some rapid, happy wisdom bombs. I always do that at the end of my talk to give you some actionable steps. All right, so this is what I call the 5x5 rule. And it's basically, if something is not going to bother you in the next 5 years, after 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes agonizing over it. Right? Whether it's someone, a rude waiter, or someone who cut your queue, or someone who stepped on your brand new shiny shoes. Right? 5x5 rule then says. Next, happily achieve. Happiness is not a goal. Happiness is in the everyday. And happiness is a byproduct of the many decisions you make in life, big or small. And if you choose to be happy, you can be happy at this very instant. Next, better an oops than a what if. Solonia, we were talking about music, and I was talking about me giving dance. Don't live life in regret, because newsflash, we are all going to die, and you don't know when. And even if you believe in, you're a Buddhist and you believe in reincarnation, okay, you're not going to come back exactly as who you are. You're not going to be Danny Bunny. You're going to be like Danny Chicken or Danny Lamb, right? Next, great things never came from comfort zones. So like today, I don't do talks that often, but I'm trying to do more of it to get myself out of comfort zones. Because after you power through, you're going to feel damn good, right? Next, edit ruthlessly. And this is something that I've been practicing for the last 2 years. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you have toxicity around you, toxic, negative, naysayers around you who poo-poo on your ideas, who are always anchoring you, right? Anchor problems, edit them out. And I also want to talk about your social media feed. You know, the world is a very nasty place, can be a very nasty place, but it has a very beautiful side as well. And as designers, it is your job to curate. So you can curate your own Instagram feed, your own Facebook feed, whatever irks you. Like there was this video I saw that my friend shared about this guy who cut off the ears of the dog, 2 years of the dog. I'm not going to see that. I'm going to block that news source. Because it's something that comes up on your feed is just going to wreak havoc in your day, right? So edit your relationships, edit your feeds, edit your world and environment. This is the last one. It says, only floss the teeth you want to keep. This is counterintuitive because obviously we want to keep all our teeth, right? So this is back to what Solonia said. We are we have many, many different facades to ourselves. It's not just one bit. So when you go to the gym, you don't just train your left bicep. Right, because what you're going to have is a very big left bicep, but everything is like atrophy. Right, so you're not going to get harmony or balance. And the work is never finished. Alright, so just keep doing micro actions, taking micro actions, and then follow your heart, but don't forget to take the brain with you. So that concludes my talk. Thank you. I can be found at happyacademy.co. I just started a podcast. Every new episode goes up on Tuesday. I'm trying to commit to that consistently. And you can find me on Instagram at Be Happy Academy. So in case you don't know what thank you means, it's my way of saying thank you. And it sounds thank you. Alright, so thank you guys. I wish you courage, I wish you clarity, and I wish you fulfillment in every day of your life. Thank you so much.